Dice Roll. Brought to you today by Duct Tape. It's duct tape. We don't need to tell you why. It's amazing. It fixes everything. Duct tape.
Previously on Cautious Optimism.
You say you have a ship? You need to deliver them to the Crooked Comet restaurant? A man named Oscar Toft. Are you members of the guild? You have heard of a Haulers Guild. What you see inside is that while everything else is supposed to be vegetables and fruits, this looks like it's full of vials filled with liquid, and they each have a little needle. It is a recreational drug. The avians feel like it allows them to make a deep spiritual connection to their gods and receive wisdom from beyond. You find a small circular disc. You see a little holographic image of Uncle Peter's face, and he says, Rory, listen to me. It's all, I'm in a lot of trouble. You gotta help me. I'm not dead. Hello, Cautious Optimism.
Aurora Borealis Shand.
A human woman.
I'm not interested in selling this ship.
She has a huge smile on her face.
She's very important to me.
Hank Crawford.
Engineers.
Bad news, good news. Bad news, fuel leak.
Coming and going from the spaceport.
Good news, I found duct tape.
Kyan Brunt.
A Mator.
I am a doctor.
A 9-foot-tall, 4-armed creature.
I don't care if they call me, hey you, just let me do my job.
Rico.
Humanoid.
I'm observing you.
Cat person.
It's for science.
Toss.
A slimy, gelatinous...
what are you hauling?
Goo thing. Thank you, Cautious Optimism. Welcome to the station. Hello! Welcome to another episode of As the Dice Roll, a podcast where we play GURPS, tabletop role-playing game. It's like Dungeons & Dragons, except completely different. And it takes place in outer space, and we've got spaceships and weird aliens, and a bunch of cool people. My name is Todd. I'm one of the cool people, I guess. I'm Todd. I'm from the Nerdberg Review podcast. I'm one of the co-hosts there. I'm going to be the GM today, and I'm here with Kelly.
Hi, I'm Kelly. I'm playing Captain Rory Shand, and I am from the Mating Habits of the Modern Geek podcast.
And we're here with Bama Shocks.
Yes, I am Bama. I am a streamer. Woo! And I am a dungeon master for 3 different sessions that are under the banner of King of the Heel.
King of the Heel, Heal. And we're here with Joe.
Hello, I'm Joe Hogan, and I am one of the co-hosts of the Geek-titude podcast.
And when last we left our heroes, Rory Shand had inherited her spaceship from her Uncle Peter, and she had recruited Hank Crawford and Kyan Brunt to kind of be her crew on the ship. And they had acquired a job, and a ship seems relatively space-worthy, and they were getting ready to go on their first adventure together. So the sun is starting to get low in the sky over Falcon Rock. You guys are on your ship. What do you want to do?
Well, we discovered, and correct me if I'm wrong, but we discovered that the fruit and vegetables that we were taking up to the planet was not the only thing in the crates.
That's true.
And so it's my memory that we decided to take the chance and go ahead and smuggle things to a different planet. So,
That's right. Specifically to the orbiting space station.
space station, that's right.
Falcon 1, space station orbiting Falcon Rock. You also discovered a recording that would seem to imply that the uncle you inherited your spaceship from is alive.
Right. So that changes some things. Who was in the room when that recording went off? Or when I was listening to that?
Well, I know Kyun Brun, with his medical skills, he had been the one putting them in the hidden cargo section, I believe, and discovered the recording of Peter saying, "Hey, I'm alive, come save me." So I believe he was in the room because he had brought the recording to you. Now, I think Hank may have been doing maintenance in the ship, doing repairs.
I believe that's correct.
Yeah, I don't think Hank heard necessarily.
All right, and remind me with the recording, did he give a location, or did things break up before he gave a location?
He did not give really any meaningful information. It was just a lot of, "I'm alive, oh, don't believe him, oh, I need your help, oh no."
Okay.
Yeah, if he had been in a good position to actually provide useful information, that would have been great.
Right. But this is a help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope, and look to the left.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. He sounded like he was under duress
Gotcha.
when he made the recording.
What's Kyan's reaction?
I think he's kind of just looking at you to see what your reaction is. Because that's some pretty heavy stuff.
Right. Do I... Because I'm good at piloting and I can fly the ship, but do I have any way... Does this recording fit into anywhere on the ship where I could possibly try to discover when it was recorded? Like, is there a timestamp or like a geolocation on it? Like, if you would look at it, Instagram photos, information, like, is there anything like that that's available to me at the console, the ship's console?
Well, so that would require some computer technology type skills. The equipment on the ship isn't, super advanced.
Gotcha.
But you'd need more than just the equipment. You'd also need somebody who knows how to do computer stuff. Hank might have some computer things.
Just a few.
So I put on the intercom. Hank, have you got a minute?
Oh, yeah. Anything, Captain. Where you need me.
Come to the cockpit real quick, please.
And I put down whatever I'm working on and head to the cockpit.
Can you take a look at this and potentially tell me when it was recorded or where it may have been recorded? And I toss him the disc or flash drive or whatever, the data crystal, whatever in the heck it is.
I believe I described it as a round disc-like contraption that had little hologram of his face when you turned it on.
Gotcha.
I sense the first roll of the session coming up. I would like to investigate this disc.
All right. So what skill are you going to use?
Computer programming?
Okay.
It's probably the closest we're going to get to that.
I mean, it's not perfect, but yeah, that we can go with that. Now, I'm going to say, because the computer equipment you have, like, you can't just look at the disk itself. You'll have to plug it into the ship's computer to do it. And the ship's computer is not great, so I'm going to give you a -4 for the poor equipment.
Okay.
And I'm going to say another -2 because computer programming's not the exact right skill you'd want for examining this.
I don't see one that I would have that would work, so.
Computer operation defaults to IQ -4.
Which is so that'd be -10 altogether. Is your IQ super good?
12.
So that would be impossible, right? Because the way this works is you have to get under. So if you have 12 minus the 10, well, you know what though? Because you wouldn't if you use the computer operator, you wouldn't have the -2 I put on you for using the wrong skill. So that kind of balances out. So then it's only -4. Plus the -4 for IQ -4. So, okay, so you would need 4 or less.
There are literally 2 rolls I can make to get this.
Yes. Oh my gosh, it's too early in the morning for all this math.
I know.
It's a 10.
Okay, so you plug it into the computer and you tap on the keyboard, and you're probably trying to make it look real good for your new captain, impress your new boss, but you don't have the foggiest idea.
Sorry, Captain. I just don't see how I can make heads or tails of this.
Well, I mean, thanks for trying. This does put a strange spin on the fact that I technically am not really in possession of this ship yet. And my uncle's still alive, which is really good news. So just, I'm going to have to do some research on this, but what's the status of the ship as far as our flight up to the space station?
I forget where we left off with that. I think we got it cobbled together.
Hank had done a once-over of the ship, and it was, I believe it was good enough to fly to the space station.
But no further.
I mean, I think you could probably go further, but I think the way the question was asked was, can it get us to the space station? And Hank, you said, yep, it can do that.
All right, then. Well, so I say prepare for flight to the space station.
Aye, aye, Captain.
And I do myself a pilot. Now, do you want me to roll for that, or do you assume that...
Yeah.
You do? Okay.
I mean, after we've played this game for 100 hours, maybe we'll be like, piloting is boring, let's just assume it works. But for the very first time, let's go ahead and roll for piloting.
So I rolled an 8, and I have a level 14 in pilot.
Okay. So you do an expert job getting the ship up off the ground, and I imagine little landing legs retracting as the ship floats up into the sky on like repulsors and everything, and you go higher and higher into the sky. The city of Wingspan on the planet Falcon Rock below you gets smaller and smaller, and the sky starts to turn black as you leave the atmosphere. And once you get up high enough, you kick in the old space engines, and you start flying. And I have to imagine that this is just a wonderful moment for Rory, right? Because you love piloting and you love space and everything.
Oh. So I start panicking because I realize I'm taking off and we're heading to a new place, and I just got this ship and I haven't named it yet. Oh, so it's bad luck. So I turn on the intercom and say, I gotta name the ship before we land at the space station. I'm gonna name the ship the Cautious Optimism. and wipe my brow in a few sort of moments of I could have just destroyed the whole mission, guys.
That was the tensest thing that's happened on the show yet.
way more tense than Hank almost dying.
Hank blowing up and having a heart attack at the time.
Cautious Optimism.
It's all about perspective.
I think we just got our campaign name.
Oh my gosh. That works. I like it. Alright, so you get the ship up into orbit, and you expertly work the controls. Now, this was your Uncle Peter's ship, so you've spent time on the ship before. You've probably... he probably lets you have a turn at the controls and everything, I would think, right?
Yeah, no, I know how to fly this ship. I don't necessarily know how to rebuild it, but I know how to fly it.
Do you imagine that Uncle Peter would have been the one who taught you how to fly, or?
Yes. I would assume that, given that he was not as straight of an arrow as my cargo shipping parents, he would have been the one who would have let me fly without a pilot's license or any training, and let me do donuts in a parking lot of space.
All right, so this ship is super familiar to you. You've flown it a bunch before, so you just expertly work the computer and everything, and you pull up the location of Falcon 1, the orbiting space station. set a course. It's going to take about a half hour. The station's on the other side of the planet, so it's got to rotate around to you as you fly towards it and all that jazz. So you've got a little bit of time to do anything. Is there anything anybody wants to do while you're en route?
Kyan's gonna go ahead and kind of set up like a little makeshift med bay.
All right.
Just kind of give himself a little bit of workspace in case something happens like that's really needs to be acted upon quickly.
Now, the ship doesn't come with a proper med bay, but I imagine there's a lot of unused rooms that could have been for storage or what have you. So you can find yourself a space, and so you're kind of tidying up and kind of setting it up to be your doctor's area.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you guys still have the gurney that you stole from the hospital when Hank wasn't on his feet yet?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that is a central point of this new med bay. It's the gurney.
All right, and that was a hover gurney, I believe. So in this rundown, beat up makeshift med center, you do have one high tech floating gurney in the middle of the room. Gives it a sense of professionalism.
And I think it's like he's positioned it under like a downlight so that it's like highlighted in the middle of the room.
There you go. I think that one thing looks pretty good. All right. Anything else you guys want to do, or should we just say you got to the station?
I kind of feel like that, during this time I should be exploring more of the engineering section of the ship and trying to find out where some of the Band-Aids might be that are going to need long-term fixes.
All right. Let's go ahead and make another roll. It's a weird thing playing a game where you don't have most of the skills and stuff memorized like I do with D&D by now.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I have mechanic and engineer, electronics repair,
Yeah, mechanic type low-performance spacecraft. I think that's probably the way to go.
I got a 6, and I'm thinking level 4 would be 12. So
yeah, your sheet says you got 12. So yeah, you made it by 6.
Okay.
So you do a fantastic job of investigating the ship. You do have a lot of things that are going to need fixing at some point.
Okay.
But nothing is really standing out as a red flag until you realize you hadn't noticed it before because the engines weren't engaged. But now that the space engines, hold on, we've got an actual name for them. Now that the 4 chloro engines have been engaged, you notice that the fuel lines are leaking. So even though you had about half a tank of fuel, which was more than enough, it's draining a lot more quickly than it should be because you're losing some to the leaks.
Do I have anything to repair this leak with?
Well, there's a bunch of stuff on the ship, so let's what would be like a perception roll in GURPS? Well, I guess they have perception. Yeah. Okay. So you've got a PER skill of 12.
Okay.
Make a perception roll. Let's look around the ship.
11.
Okay. You're just about going to give up. You only made it by 1, so you're just about to give up and say, "Oh no!" When you find a whole box filled with duct tape.
Yay!
Gift from the gods. All right. Let's duct tape some fuel lines.
Using that duct tape and the roll you made earlier for mechanic that you made by 6, which is a lot, I'm going to say that you've done a remarkably good job, considering you only had duct tape, getting the leaks all under control, and so it's not going to leak anymore, at least during this trip, but this is obviously not a long-term solution. You're still at about a third of your fuel, which is more than enough to get to the space station and probably back again and everything. But yeah, you're going to need to buy fuel at some point and have a better solution for the leaks.
I'm on it. over the intercoms. Captain,
Go ahead.
bad news, good news. Bad news, fuel leak. We are down an eighth of a tank of fuel. Good news, I found duct tape.
Does the duct tape have Hello Kitty on it?
I'm sorry, all we had was Barney.
Okay, good. I was saving the Hello Kitty. That's fine. Thank you.
We will have to get this fixed before we can embark on our next mission.
Understood. Thank you, Hank.
Anytime, Puddin'.
So, because I have the disadvantage of nosy, I'm going to go see what Kyan is doing.
All right. I imagine you put the ship on like autopilot,
I'm sure, yeah. It's on cruise
Yeah.
control.
and you wander down to the makeshift medical area.
So I make a little knock on like the archway.
Oh, come on in.
This gurney really does make it look like a med bay.
Yeah, it's not much, but I figured we probably should have a space in case there's another emergency.
Oh, you mean like our mechanic gets blown up and has a heart attack at the same time?
Yeah, that
Okay.
would be that would be a thing that we should be able to react to a little bit quicker next time.
Good. So I was wondering, do you want us to refer to you as Dr. Kyan, or what is your medical nomenclature?
Well, it would be Dr. Brunn, but
Okay.
Kyan's fine. I'm not that formal. I mean, getting people to take me seriously at this point is is all I really care about. I don't care if they call me, "Hey, you," just let me do my job.
Gotcha. Well, I'll try to remember that when we're around other people, I will refer to you as doctor to get the point across.
I appreciate that. And I really do appreciate you giving me this opportunity. I just really don't know where to start at this point. Nobody will hire me. So you're doing me a really huge favor.
Well, hopefully I'll be able to give you a share of some profit at some point. But for right now, I've got a free doctor, so I'm pretty much winning in the in this arrangement.
I'm just happy to be able to do what I do.
Well, good. Well, if you want to make a list of items that you might need for us to purchase and or end up with, we'll add it to the list. I'm sure that Hank is making a list of things that we need, and hopefully we can try to get them all at one time and make this a legitimate merchant cargo catch-all ship.
Awesome. Yeah, I have a short list, but I do have. He kind of points to his pack. He's like, I've been kind of carrying most of my stuff for a while now, so I should have enough here to get us set up at least.
Well, good. Well, I guess I'll wander on down and take a look at this fuel leak that's happening.
But before you go, are you okay? You did get some kind of rough news there.
Yeah, I handle bad news. It's good news, actually. My uncle's not dead. He's still alive as of the recording. So, I'm looking forward to trying to find him and figure out what's going on.
Anything I can do to help out, please let me know.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And so I leave and go down to engineering. Or I mean where the engine is in the ship. I'm making it sound like it's a D-class starship, but you know what I mean?
Well, I'm sure there's an engine room. So yeah, that's appropriate.
I walk across the hall to the engine room.
Listen. If Kyan can call a closet a med bay, I can call it department engineering, okay? It's only fair.
There's this unspoken like rivalry of who has the nicest space, even though they're all crappy.
Well, mine currently smells like fuel, so...
Oh, and I imagine chlorofluoro or fluorochloro fuel smells probably like rotten kale or something.
That sounds about right.
So I go into the engine room. Hank, so I know you're making a list of stuff we're gonna need. What type of money are we looking at?
Well, that's going to depend on the exchange rate on the space station. You know, it kind of fluctuates day to day. Any idea? We're looking at fuel lines.
So I would say that Hank would probably estimate replacement fuel lines at about, let's say, 50,000 lopsies for, brand new ones. You could probably get used parts for cheaper. And though, you have other things that you need as well, but those would be the priority, right? So.
Right.
Gotcha.
Well, Captain, best I can guess, these are going to cost us about 50,000 lopsies.
Yikes. Well, let's see what we can find on the space station.
Jeez.
Let's see, so then I wander back to the cockpit and weep for my wallet.
As you arrive at the cockpit, you get an indicator light on the control panel there that you're coming up on the space station, and you're getting a hail from the station.
I answer it. This is the Cautious Optimism. Go ahead.
Hello, Cautious Optimism. We see you. This is Falcon 1 space station. I see you entering our space. Please state your business.
I am on my way to deliver fruits and vegetables to wherever in the heck they told me to deliver them. To place. Specific place name.
Crooked Comet. The restaurant was named the Crooked Comet.
Gotcha, okay. I'm delivering these fruits and vegetables to the Crooked Comet.
All right. I'm going to clear you for landing on Bay 2. I'm opening those doors now. Please be aware that Falcon 1 does not have those fancy tractor beams that land you automatically, so you will have to pilot the ship in manually. Thank you, Cautious Optimism. Welcome to the station. Welcome to the station.
So we're finally at the space station. I'm sure everything will be smooth sailing from here, right? Hi, I'm Joe Hogan, editor of As the Dice Roll. I hope you're enjoying our latest episode of Cautious Optimism. I don't have too much to announce this week. I do want to direct you to DarrenCurtisMusic.com. He's the one who does all of our music. We get it from him, and I think he deserves a shout out. So go support him, check out his music, subscribe to his Patreon, let him know that you listen to him on our show. Also, since we don't have any feedback this week, I want to encourage you all to email us at podcast@asthedicerollcast.com. Or better yet, you can actually leave us a voice message. We want to hear from you. Just click on the link on our website, asthedicerollcast.com. Tell us your favorite character or your favorite moment, or just say hi. We see the listens on Anchor and we see the listens on YouTube, so we know you're out there. We just want to hear from you. Anyway, that's it for me this week. We're keeping it short and sweet this week, so we'll move on to a quick commercial break, and then we'll get back to the crew of Cautious Optimism. We'll see what trouble they can get into on the space station. When toxic culture has you down,
when you're just looking to laugh and have fun,
kick back and enjoy watching a video game,
or just make some new friends,
it's time to visit the Geek to Geek Media Network,
a community of podcasters, streamers, and bloggers.
Well, more of a family than a community.
All dedicated to geeking out about the things we love. Things like
video games,
Star Wars,
comics,
movies,
K-pop,
Disney Plus,
Keanu Reeves,
new,
or whatever our community decides is the next best thing.
That's right. We have a great online community on Slack and Discord where we chat about our weekly geekery with listeners and viewers.
And each other.
Yep, and each other in real time, and we can't wait for you to join us.
So come check us out at geektogeekmedia.com.
And escape toxic fandom for something much more...
Keanu?
Yes, Keanu.
So I'd flick off the comms, and then I say to the ship, y'all might want to sit down, buckle yourselves in. I'm going to have to land this thing manually. And I haven't done that in a little while.
All right. I think we're going to need another one of those piloting rolls.
All right. Got another 8.
All right. Yeah, and you had like a 14 for that? So
I do. Yeah.
Okay, so you succeed by 4. You do an excellent job. You bring the ship in, touchdown. You can barely even feel the little bump as the landing legs hit the ground. You feel a little transition as the gravity shifts from the spaceship's artificial gravity to the station's, and the doors close behind you. and you guys have successfully docked. You are now in basically just a large rectangular room. You're the only ship there. Nobody came down to greet you or anything. This is not a high-class space station. I think all of you have probably been here before, because none of you were natives to Falcon Rock. So I think you all came through this station on your way to the planet, and so you already know that it's not a luxury facility. It's mostly just for cargo transfers. They have some restaurants. There's a general store there. There's a pub. There's a shop where they sell parts for spaceships. And there's a hotel. There's some living quarters. It's like a small city in space, right? Because there are some people who live there and run the station and the facilities. But it's most of the station is cargo bays, landing bays, and occupied with the business of ships coming and going, with cargo. So here you are.
So, knowing that we have the little something extra with the cargo, I can't remember. I need to do a better job of taking notes. Did I have a contact for who I was supposed to let know that I was delivering?
Yeah, you're supposed to deliver the goods to the owner of the Crooked Comet. He is a human named Oscar Toft.
Right. Okay.
And presumably he was also the recipient of the hallucinogenics that are smuggled aboard.
And because we had negotiated a price to transport them there. Before we leave the ship, I come to where Kyan and Hank are.
All right.
So,
yeah.
So let's think about the best approach for this. Technically, we were paid to deliver fruit and vegetables to this restaurant. They think we're not going to check the cargo to see that there's extra hallucinogenic drugs. How do you all feel about just delivering the fruit and vegetable and asking that this Oscar Toft pay us extra for the hallucinogenic drugs?
Extortion?
I mean, if you want to be fancy.
Well, I mean, it seems only fair when we think we were getting fair trade for fruits and vegetables, and turns out we're, committing felony, for lack of a better term. What is this, like galaxy-wide felony,
Well, within the kind of nation of the League of Planets, these are outlawed everywhere except on the surface of Falcon Rock. So,
what do you think, Kyan?
He's kind of doing a weird, like, for somebody as big as he is, and with the 4 arms, his hands are kind of fidgeting. He's got 4 fidgeting hands. He's like, I don't know. I mean, logically it makes sense, but like I said before, I'm really not in a great position to be getting into trouble. So, I get that we need the money, but I don't know that I want to get ourselves in a situation where we're going to get caught with this stuff.
Before we unload the cargo, I think I would like to go and have a conversation with Mr. Toft. Do you guys? I mean, I assume you guys are going to come with me, but I don't want to do anything that is going to make you feel uncomfortable, Kyan. I would suggest you stay here with the ship while we go do this. But then, if something happens, you're caught with this stuff on the ship.
Yeah, no, I have no problem going with you. I think it probably makes sense. I just, I think we should be as cautious as humanly possible, or as personally possible.
As personally possible, as humanoidly as possible.
And I'll absolutely back your play, Captain Roy.
All right. Well, so, out of character, what you say we've been to the space station a bunch, or we're familiar with it. What do we know of the type of security that the space station has?
Okay, yeah. So there is a security force on the station. It's kind of divided into 2 parts. There's a small force that keeps the peace among people on the station, and the larger force is more of a like customs sort of organization that makes sure that nothing inappropriate is being shipped, or that nothing's being brought onto the station or to the planet below that could be harmful in any way, that kind of thing. But from what you've been able to tell, neither one is super, cautious. I think we established in the last episode that they don't have the scanning technology to detect your smuggled goods. So they would require a visual inspection. And the fact that nobody met you at the station to if they wanted to search your ship, they would probably have met you at the docking bay before, you know what I mean? So you think you're probably good.
All right, well, let's go talk to this Toft guy and see if we can arrange for something better than what we're getting.
Do we want to bring weapons? Because I do have stuff. Like, is that a bad idea?
Can we carry weapons on the space station? Open?
Yeah.
Do we have our open carry permits?
Do we have our CCs?
No, you're allowed to carry your weapons on the station.
All right. So, what kind of weapons does everyone have?
I have a laser pistol.
I'm a little more old school than that. 357 Magnum.
Well, I mean, that'll definitely make a hole. Yeah, I have I think I just like a regular laser pistol as well.
Pew pew pew.
And that's some great folio there.
Pew pew. Dude, I love it when Beej does it in the new promotional. Pew 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 pew.
Yeah.
Oh, can we capture that and use it for sound effects for all of our laser fights?
I think we can.
It would be great. Why do all of your guns sound like BJ?
I fire my laser pistol. Pew 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 pew.
All right, so we're making our way to the restaurant, the Crooked Comet.
All right. So the station is, it's kind of a circle, and with docking bays and ship stuff on the outside. And at the center is a kind of common area where you've got the restaurants, you've got the stores, you've got the hotel. So you guys basically make a straight line towards the center of the station. You see, as you're walking to there, you see some other people. There's a good number of avians, the native species from the planet below. There's humans. You see a couple other aliens. Imagine the background of the cantina in Star Wars, right? They're funny looking and not all humanoid or whatnot. And since you're all used to flying in outer space, this is not unusual to you. And you make it to the center of the station, and you do see, laid out in a big circle, we've got the Crooked Comet that you were bringing supplies to. There's another restaurant called Garland's Grub. There's a pub called Arledu. There is an Everything and More general store. There's a Temple of the Unhatched Egg, which seems to be just avians going in and out of that place. It's some kind of church for their people. There is a hotel, and it doesn't have any fancy name. There's just a sign outside that says hotel. And there is a Best Parts store that sells ship supplies, spaceship supplies. That's about all you see here in the center common area.
All right. So I make my way to the Crooked Comet.
All right. You don't have to get very close before you see a big sign on it that says closed.
Am I interpreting this closed as in until dinner time or closed as in forever?
It looks like it's in more of a permanent nature.
Ooh.
Well, Captain, this is a bit unfortunate. It looks like our destination is no longer rocking and rolling.
Huh. So I think we should try the next restaurant and see what the story is.
Okay, so on either side of the Crooked Comet, there's Garland's Grub and Arledu Pub. Which one?
I'm in favor of the pub, Captain.
Well, let's go there and see what we can find out.
Oh, I was just thirsty.
I am not thirsty.
I mean, we haven't yet discussed the employee handbook and whether alcohol on the ship is allowed, so I have been refraining.
Oh, well, that was silly. Of course, alcohol is allowed.
All right. So as you enter Arledu, you see there's a few people here. It's going to be about when you guys left at night on the planet. The space station has a slightly different time zone, I guess. So it's evening-ish. So the place is pretty full, actually. A lot of people, various aliens and whatnot, are imbibing. And behind the bar, kind of running the place, is a Bratum woman with pastel pink skin.
Would you label her attractive?
Yeah. She is attractive for her species. She's attractive. Now the Bratum.
That's all that matters.
Okay.
Look, I've neglected these disadvantages. I'm trying to work them because I want to be fair. I would like to sidle up to the bar, flash my greatest Southern smile. Howdy, barkeep. How you doing?
Hello. I'm doing just fine, sir. Are you with the party that just came in?
Well, of course I am.
I noticed there's a Matorb in your group. What's his story?
He's the greatest four-armed doctor I've ever met. Kind of stitched my heart back together.
Did he really? He's a doctor?
Saved my life. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, that's odd. So he's a friend of yours.
Co-worker.
Co-worker. Okay. What kind of business are you in?
We've got a ship. We are, matter of fact, little parched. Can I start with something to drink? That okay? I mean,
oh yeah. Here. You know what? I'm in a good mood, and I like your smile, sir.
Thank you.
Know, I'm gonna give you one on the house. Here's a Gorble Blaster.
What is a Gorble Blaster?
It is green, and it's got a lot of like smoke coming off of it, steam, smoke, something. And you have never had one before.
This kind of barkeep. This kind of reminds me of the old flaming boiling maker. Some of them called them Dr. Peppers back in the day. Cheers. I would like to gently taste this thing to see if it's going to kill me.
All right. It's definitely alcohol, and it has kind of a pleasant sweet taste to it when you first drink it. But what's interesting is that after you swallow, the taste in your mouth slowly turns sour, and it kind of leaves you craving another sip to get the sour taste to go away.
Uh-oh. I assume I'm going to be mentally urged to take more of this drink, and I will take a healthy drink of it.
All right. And when you do that, again, it tastes really good. It's very sweet and tasty, and again, very alcohol filled, of course. And after you swallow, even stronger this time, the sourness returns, and the urge to take another drink is back.
Crap! I'm gonna have to finish it just to continue the conversation. Then it seems.
All right.
And it all the way to the last drop. I'm looking in the bottom for more.
And she says, well, "You must have really liked it. Now I can get you a second one. I will have to charge you for the first one's free. Your next glass will be $5 or 5 lopsies, sir."
And he slides her 10 lopsies. Go ahead and give me 2.
Oh, excellent. She brings out 2 brand new ones, and as she sets them down, she says, I'd really like to talk to your Matorb friend, if you don't mind. Could you call him over, maybe?
Hey, Kayan, this beautiful young lady here would like to speak with you.
He walks up to the bar, but you guys can tell that he has stiffened greatly and is like his arms are crossed. He is not have a friendly demeanor, and he walks up to the bar and kind of leans down against it.
Here, taste this. Slides him one of the drinks.
He tastes it. His eyes kind of don't leave the Bertom bartender.
She looks you over and she says, "Well, you're an awful long ways from home, aren't you?"
He nods and says, Yes, ma'am, I am.
Do you have a hard time fitting in out here among the stars? It seems like you might be more comfortable back home, don't you think?
No, ma'am, I would not.
I think the moons of Gorix are really where people like you belong, don't you think?
And I think I am going to take my leave of this establishment for right now. Thank you very much. And he starts to wander away.
I know some people who could bring you back.
He just kind of waves like behind him as he walks out. He says, I will be waiting outside.
Shame your friend is such a stick in the mud.
That one's had a rough one. Never accepted anywhere. So
he would be accepted on the moons of Gorix. I really think you should encourage him to go back. Go back home.
I will take it under advisement. What can you tell us about the former establishment next door? Anything?
Oh, the Comet.
Yeah, we were supposed to bring them some vegetables, and, well, they don't look like they need them anymore.
Is that why you're here? Is that why your ship came here, to bring them supplies?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, that's unfortunate. It seems the proprietor, Mr. Oscar Toft, he killed a man.
Next time on Cautious Optimism.
The Bratum had enslaved the Matorb, but as far as you know, they freed the Matorb and made them full citizens in order to join the League of Planets.
So Oscar Toft has hired my uncle's attorney to represent him and offering through him to pay us 10,000 lopsies to investigate the murder of Sam Silmanson.
You all need to know, I didn't kill anybody.
You've been listening to As the Dice Roll. The As the Dice Roll intro music is The Soap Opera by James Bowers. You can find and license his music through Pond5 at pond5.com. All the rest of the music in this episode is by Darren Curtis and can be found at darrencurtismusic.com. The opening voiceover is by our very own Rob Sometimes. You can find his podcast at comicbox.libsyn.com. And the As the Dice Roll logo was created by Maricel Edwards. Check out her book No Great Matter at msedwards.com. As the Dice Roll is a proud member of the Geek to Geek Media Network. Check out other Geek to Geek shows, streams, and content at geektogeekmedia.com. If you'd like to contact the show, you can send an email to podcast@asthedicerollcast.com. Individual players and GMs' social media can be found on our website at asthedicerollcast.com.